Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we are going to be talking about the different henges that we have here in America. We've got some Stonehenges here in America and some Woodhenges here in America. And we probably have more than the main four that we discovered in our research. But you know what? I think that's enough for one episode. So if there's more, go ahead, like and subscribe right now, and then comment while you're thinking about it and tell us which ones that you know of. And then if we don't mention it, we'll know to come back, because you can type that out while I tell Maddie about what I did yesterday. So yesterday, apparently, down at Joplin Avenue, Coffee, there were some individuals who apparently they do this once a month, giving free dream interpretations.
Oh my god, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I should have went. I wish I had known I had the weirdest dream.
Roz, I didn't find out about it until like Friday night, and I knew you already had stuff going on Saturday.
Or spiritual?
I think it's...
I mean, like psychological or spiritual?
I didn't get one because I didn't have a dream that I felt called to ask for assistance in looking at. But that said, what I did do is I talked to them about PPD.
Oh.
So we spoke about both a presentation where they'll do a presentation on like basic dream interpretation, but they'll also be there as vendors giving interpretations for donation. Oh, that's what we spoke about. So putting it out there that is actually coming to fruition. Yes, because like I know like so many people will come for that. You know, I'm going to have the presentation early in the morning. And that's why I was like, I think I'm going to wait to say it on the podcast.
Yes, that's
so that more
awesome.
People, because I was like, I meant to tell you yesterday, and I got caught up with, I don't fucking know, probably figuring out dinner last night, because that's always a struggle. But yeah, fucking exciting. Like, putting it out there, it's going to be a great year. Putting it out there. Woo, 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 woo.
Totally
woo, 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 woo.
Yes.
Fuck yes.
So about the American Stonehenges, they're not as big, or they're not as well known as the European Stonehenge in England. Do you think that's because they're not as big?
I think there's a whole lot of reasons. I think because they're not as big. I think because British Stonehenge is what it is. Everything else seems less impressive, you know what I mean? And so, like, I think they have local notoriety, and they have notoriety for people who look into that kind of thing. But, like, that's exactly why I wanted to do this episode, is to get that information out there to people who don't know that we have these. Three of the four we're going to talk about are, like, ancient. One of them is new but important.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, like, look, you guys should
start?
sign up to our Patreon, because, like, we can take a trip there, and that would be fun.
Yeah, like
so much fun.
The one in Illinois. Yeah, like we can actually. It's not. It's not. It's like 4 hours. Yeah, that would be fucking cool.
Anyway,
that would be cool.
Would
like,
be
and I would love to go to the one in Louisiana.
Well, and the thing,
I mean, seriously.
Oh, I know, right? That would be so much fun. So the thing about the European Stonehenge, I was thinking though, like, that shit wasn't discovered. That was always there. Like, how the fuck is somebody gonna discover?
Right, yeah, like you always knew.
Were discovered.
Right, they were hidden, and some of them were hidden just through time, and some of them were hidden, I think, through locale. You know, and then one of them is new. Like I said, it's not. It wasn't really hidden. It was supposed to be out there for us. Right. Should anything catastrophic happen. You want to start with the newest?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, let's just Georgia Guidestones. Yes. Yep. The one with the list. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So, this American Stonehenge, it's new, or it was unfortunately new, and it was put up in Georgia.
Yeah. In like Elbert or Ebert. Yeah. It was like mysterious as fuck. So like 1978, 79, something like that. This guy named Robert C. Christian, except he wasn't named Robert C. Christian.
He just wanted
that was a pseudonym. He goes in and he has all these like specific specifications.
No, I feel like of that.
Right? Like I'm pretty.
I don't know. Can you? S?
You probably can. Yeah. You probably can. I don't know that it's an anagram versus like a pseudonym, but like he had these specific instructions for these specific guide stones to be put up in a specific way and be engraved with these specific things. He did have to have money because the company that he went to, they were like, motherfucker's crazy. Right. They quoted 3 times as much as any job they'd ever done before.
So we're talking millions.
Well, I don't remember if there was a number.
An exact number, but
okay, but this was the 80s. Yeah. So, I mean, even hundreds of thousands today would be millions, right? So, but I mean, like lots and lots of money. And like Mr. Christian was like, not Sister Christian. Sorry, I love that song.
Vadered it and like covered his voice and was like, "Could you please just do this for me?"
Or I literally I'm picturing like a more able-bodied version of the guy from Jurassic Park, like with the cane and the hat. I know. Okay. So like this is what I picture. Like he is a dapper gentleman and he's like, please do this. I'm with this group of concerned Americans, and that's how they put it. And he was like, when he was called out on the fact that like that's not his real name.
Was there anything specifically happening in the 80s? I mean, this was after World War II.
Well, the Satanic Panic was happening in the 80s.
That's true. And this was after Vietnam. So like
the Cold War was happening. It was actively happening during my whole childhood. Yeah. My mom's childhood through mine. Yeah. I mean, legit, because like these guide stones are because they thought something was going to happen, like nuclear war or something. Yeah.
An apocalyptic situation.
Yes, exactly.
And it's not just stones. So there was 3, right?
Yes, there's 3 and there's like a thing on top. Yeah, right, exactly.
So these guide stones they were written in multiple languages.
Yes,
so
like multiple.
Survived the apocalyptic situation had
could understand. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Super cool. Like, I know. Do you want me to read them and we'll go? Okay.
Do.
I don't know if you can.
It all down.
Yeah, I wrote them down because I'm not going to remember them.
She's a better reader out loud than me.
Yeah, well, and I have my own version of handwriting, which my husband for the first like definite 5 years of marriage thought was cursive, and I was like, no, that's how I write.
It kind of is cursive.
It is kind of cursive-y. So number 1 was maintain humanity under 5 million in perpetual balance in nature.
Are we under 5 million right now?
Oh no, can't be. Can't be. Like
failed.
Yeah, we've already failed because, like, I'm pretty sure there's more than a billion people in America.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah,
there's like billions and billions, right? Yeah, like, seriously, like, but okay, so the first point, but the first point makes me go, you know how I have that shower thought about there's only so many souls?
Yeah,
Like, this made, like, when I was writing that down, it made me think about, like, oh, because there's only so much room for humanity on Earth. There's so many human souls available.
I feel like this goes so
I don't know.
into it because it's like once you get over 5 billion, what, we gonna start killing people? Are we gonna pull the like whole only?
Well, and I don't know. But like, I mean, and I'm not saying like, right. Yeah. It just made me think, you know, it was like, it made me think. Now it's funny that you say what you said because the next one is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity.
Okay, this guy, I'm starting to change my mind. This sounds a little fucking shitty. But I get it, though. But
like, improving fitness and diversity, right? Yes. So, like, it's not like, saying, like, a master race or anything like that, because just, diversity, that, like, have everybody, it like, being, like...
wisely, which means don't let your stupid neighbors breathe.
I mean, it could mean that. It could mean that. It also could mean, like... Don't have 13 kids because that's irresponsible for nature. You know, like, be responsible, be wise. Okay, those are not your feet. Those are my shoes. I'm so sorry, YouTube.
Oh, no.
I thought I was kicking your feet and it was my
You're like,
shoes.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I was like, I am so sorry. I don't know how I keep kicking your feet all the way over here. They were my old shoes. Sorry. But, like, okay, so again, like, I get where you see it as fucky, but
I get it why it's good. It's
but like it could be, like, it doesn't.
A harsh truth.
I guess it is a harsh truth, but and again, it doesn't say like only these people or whatever. It says
diversity.
It does say diversity. It says focus on healthy offspring, and it says be responsible in breeding. And like,
it's a harsh truth.
It is a hard, like,
people could be offended by that, but
some people could be
truth.
Right, it is, because like I get you may want to have 13 kids, but like, how sustainable is that? And have you ever watched
apocalyptic situation,
right? But also, like, that 13th kid and that first kid, are they getting the same love? Right. I'm just saying, like, you get spread thin at some point. No hate, no judgment. Just saying, like, these rules, I get where they're coming from. That's all I mean. So then, unite humanity with a living new language. As Maddie stated, all of these rules are given out there in like 8 different languages, because they're like what most of population uses. Having one living language that we can all communicate effectively with each other, because words matter. Oh my God. So that's crazy. Okay. It says unite humanity with a living new language. I had my buddy Chandler sent me a TikTok, and it was this guy, and it was this video about how there have been tests done in a country that, if I say it out loud, people are automatically going to ignore the information. So I'm not going to say that till later maybe. But they've done tests on DNA and found that
Germany.
DNA is affected by language. Like, DNA makes words. It makes words. Like, words matter. I say words matter a lot. Words actually affect DNA. It's like there's this whole thing, and no, it wasn't Germany, but
I laughed at my joke.
I was like trying not to lose my train of thought, and I also didn't want to laugh and have anybody be like, "Oh, it's Germany." No, it wasn't Germany. It's not Germany. But I just find that like the use, words matter, guys, and it says a living language. DNA is a living language.
I don't understand. Like, so, like, talking, like, what do you mean?
I mean, like, DNA in us, it's like, it's living, and it's language. It's connected to language. Like, they have made like scientific connections between actual language and human DNA. So a living language, knowing that information just struck me differently when I was reading it out loud, because it's like, are they talking about making us better human beings? Are they talking about having the same tongue? Are they talking about both things? Anyway, it just things to think about.
You know what? Maybe we'll get to that later.
I don't know, because like biblically speaking, this feeds into our last episode.
Biblically speaking, we all spoke one fucking language, and it was a shit show. Separated again. Why I understand why certain conservatives are like, this is awful. But it's not awful.
It's not, because like, okay, so the next one is rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
I love that.
That's great advice. That's wonderful advice. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That's we should strive for that.
Free Palestine. We should strive for that 100%. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. So like Geneva Convention, but not like, yeah, because like it's like we've got like, if it's an American problem, like we deal with it ourselves, the other countries don't get involved, and or if it's another country, America doesn't stick their big fat American nose in like they always do.
Right. Okay. That would save so many words.
Yeah. Avoid petty laws.
And use
my God.
officials. Yeah. Again. Great advice.
Great advice. I didn't even like register that when I was writing it because we were talking. But damn, that's good advice.
That's great advice.
Like, balance personal rights with social duties. I mean, you might agree, but
we do. We have this conversation all the time, especially since recently, like you took over PPD and you're like, we have social responsibilities.
We do. Like, community's important.
But they're closing us off from that.
They are. Yep. It's crazy. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. Like, whoever blew these up. Anyway, we haven't gotten there yet. Okay. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. What is exactly? It doesn't give a specific. It's whatever you make of it. Yeah. Be not a Cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature.
Thank you.
Leave room for nature. It says leave room for nature twice. I didn't repeat myself.
That's because it's like they're putting it so serious. Like we're destroying the earth right now.
Yes. That was the last one. That was number 10. Yep. Why would somebody
destroy that? Getting into that topic.
Yeah, because like you said, fucking assholes in 2022.
It was vandal, and I remember when that happened. I remember it was everywhere, and me and my husband saw that, and we looked into it, saw what it was, and we're like, why would anybody in their right mind want to blow this away? It's like they knew that why the person did it, and it's like they knew that this person was trying to help the future humanity, and they were like, fuck you, future humanity doesn't need help, doesn't deserve help.
I think that the person was offended seeing it as a bastardization of the 10 commandments, like there are 10. Okay, yes. You know what? And like you said, it kind of goes against certain things in the Bible. Like we just talked in our last episode about the the Tower of Babel, and that whole like, oh, you guys all have one language, and you've used it to try and best me at my own game, and I'm not okay with it, so I'm gonna smite you. Now you have different languages. So like encouraging humanity to go back to one living language, right? Not where like, oh, everything can go back to Sumerian, they can go back to cuneiform. Yeah, everything can be traced back to cuneiform origins. That's the first written language. Sure, it can all be taken back to cuneiform. But how many of you can understand cuneiform? I don't understand cuneiform when it's in a book in front of me. I have to read that shit over and over because it's not even like Latin. It's like cuneiform. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Maybe it's supposed to be cuneiform. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Oh my God. Fucking boring. Like the accuracy of that Billy Madison reference is like chef's kiss. But seriously, like somebody did.
And did they ever find who did it?
It's still unsolved. And I don't even think they're looking into it.
Is it really a mystery though?
I think they don't care because also like you got to think this is conservative Georgia. Yeah. How many of the actual officials, because there was the lady that her actual fucking platform for running for office was that she'd get rid of these things because they're satanic, because they think they're satanic, which again makes me go, do they think it's a bastardization of the 10 Commandments because it's so open and loving versus like smite you. Right. None of it
is negative.
None of it.
Nothing. It is so positive.
It is.
The things that I mentioned in the beginning, I could see taken out of context.
Right.
Like the breed wisely.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like,
wisely.
And
I could see where that's
part of that. And part of that, how much of that is our own connotation for some kind of guide versus what this entity is actually trying to portray,
and
right?
And then, of course, like you said, the language one versus the story in the Bible. Those are the only two that I can see anybody taking offense by. Everything else is...
Well, and I mean, like you said, that first one where it's like maintain a certain level of people, like, control, like that can be off-putting to some. But at the same time, like if you think about certain things, like it makes sense whether you like it or not. Like Maddie said, it's a harsh truth. It's a harsh truth. So that one's, I guess, the most fun. It is definitely the most recent.
The most controversial.
Yes, they're 42 years. Yes, very fun to talk about. Only up for 42 years, but so very important because of the messages.
Exactly.
And you know what? I will say this. Even though somebody did destroy them for whatever reason they had for destroying the guide stones, because knowledge is so widespread these days, it wasn't all lost to history as it might have been had they been destroyed in 1985 instead of 2022. So there is that silver lining that
and it's in written history.
It is in written history, exactly, and it's in history where you can easily find it. Because like there are certain things that back when everything was on paper, if a flood happened or a fire happened, like those things might just be lost forever. Like the original Doctor Who episodes or whatever, right? Certain things from the past got strictly lost to history. But luckily these were up long enough that they were taken from us. But we have the ability to recreate them and we have the knowledge that's written down, and that's important. So now we're going to... is that like, was that a rewind sound?
So it's,
ooh, oh, is it?
We got the
never watched.
Anyway, so we're going back in time, and which one should we start with? Should we start Illinois or New Hampshire?
Can we start?
You want to do New, like,
Louisiana? If we start with Louisiana and then work our way up and over, we can reference our old episodes that we've already talked about those older things in. Yeah. So we'll start with Louisiana, which is also new. So it's new to us, even if it's not new to the U.S. Oh, haha. Us, U.S. Amber's.
LOL.
On one.
Why don't you start on that one? Because I know you're very excited about this one.
I am.
Amber loves Louisiana.
I do, Bayou Country. Although this isn't in Bayou Country, but I do actually enjoy Louisiana a lot. So Poverty Point, Louisiana,
and is that what it's really called?
That's what it's really called. If you Google Poverty Point, Poverty Point, it's this big mound that's part of a much larger structure. I showed you the image on my phone. It's the one where it's like this earthen mound, and then it had these concentric circles coming out from it, right? And those concentric circles are where the Woodhenges used to be set up, right? And so for anybody who doesn't know what a Woodhenge is versus a Stonehenge, like Stonehenge is where the stones have been set up in a specific manner, usually concentric circles or like semicircles, and they usually line up with some kind of celestial event, such as the summer solstice or the winter solstice, the vernal equinox, the autumnal equinox, right?
Or certain stars in the sky.
Right, or certain stars, like when Osiris, or I don't actually know the names of those stars, but like Maddie said, when they're in the sky at a certain time, like this thing lines up with it, these stones line up, this point lines up here, this point lines up here, and like they quite often, like there's multiple things in the henge that will line up with these celestial events and bodies,
do they know
right?
What the mound is around,
Well, and with this one, the mound was kind of like a focal point, so I don't know if you'd be at the bottom or at the top, but the way that the wood henges were set up, they probably aligned with a lot of different things, but the way that certain ones are set up, when the summer solstice sunrise happened, the henge would line up directly over Poverty Point with the henges and the,
so crazy in the best way.
It is. And there's multiple different henges because as the Earth's axis moved, because we're on like this little wibbly wobbly thing, we think it stays still, but like over the course of 100 years, it goes a little this way, a little this way, whatever. So like they moved the wood henges to properly align, which I think is possibly why. So I think there's probably two reasons why they used wood, right? I think stone probably wasn't available, but I think the wood was easier to move so that once they realized, because at this point in our history, 1100 BCE to 1700 BCE, we'd had quite a bit of human history at that point. We'd been watching the sky for a while. Right. So I think we realized that these points would eventually waver, you know what I mean? And that wood was easier to mine. And
that shit sometimes. I can't lie. Like that.
Vertigo. Oh God. Yeah. No.
Or the fact that we're actually all going 1,000 miles an hour around and around and around, but we can't feel it because we're on the earth. So we're.
But if it ever stopped, we're dead. Yeah.
I know.
Sorry.
Oh
shit terrifies me.
Dude,
terrifies me.
Everything just moves so subtly, and we don't even feel it.
Oh my God.
What the fuck? Or do we feel it? Maybe we do. You should.
I feel it sometimes.
You should listen to our own conspiracy theories.
Yeah, we're doing another one next week.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we're updating that. Oh my God, I'm excited.
So
did you feel the earthquake last week?
No, I didn't. Did you feel it?
I did.
I've never felt an earthquake before.
Oh my God.
Feel like?
It's so weird. It's weird because I felt another earthquake when I was with Ashley and her mom before her mom passed away, and like the goats went ape shit. It was weird.
Is it just like a tickle?
It's like, so this time I was sitting on the couch. Before I was sitting in a chair where all 4 feet were on the ground, so it was like a little bit of a different connection to the ground. Also, I think Ashley's mom's house like was directly on the ground, whereas like we have a crawl space under our house. So I don't know how much that changes it, but it's like, it's not like, okay, where we live, these earthquakes are subtle. So I don't know about LA. Like, I don't know about where,
we're not
like,
from
yeah,
California.
exactly. Like, I rode Earthquake at Universal Studios. It was not like this ride. That shit terrified me. I love it. It was one of my favorite Universal Studio rides. I don't care how cheesy it is. Love Earthquake. Anyway.
Did it just feel like
it's just like a weird shift. Like, it's like the song where it's like, the earth moved under my feet.
It's like that vibe.
Yes, it is like that vibe. It's like very much like, no,
really?
I mean,
so it's not like this. It's like
because of where we are in conjunction with the fault line. Okay. Again, if you're in a different place with the fault line, I'm sure it's like, but where we are, it's like this weird like swoop, like, whoop. Like it's just like a swoop. This one, I'd say it was like that. It was like boom, boom, like
weird.
one way,
boom,
boom.
Like, yeah. Did I not feel that?
Not everybody did. There was actually, I need to respond to the article, but one of the local news actually put out an article, and they were like, "Did you feel the earthquake? It was last Friday night."
I wonder. Yeah. That is so crazy.
Yeah, I meant to ask you when we got to record together last week, but at that point I didn't actually know if it was an earthquake. I just looked at Corey on the couch and I was like, "Did you feel that? I think that was an earthquake." And yeah, it was. Yeah, it's crazy. It's cool. Yeah, because if you're listening to us in California, sorry, it sucks for you, but out here, like, earthquakes aren't scary.
Yeah, they don't happen.
They don't. Yeah, they're not like.
Knock on motherfucking wood.
That's right. Yeah, they're not as scary out here. Is all I was gonna say.
But yeah.
The Woodhenge. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like,
does it say how old it was, you said?
It is scary the way that this one, the one in Louisiana is 1,100 years to 1,700 years ago, BCE.
Do they know who made it?
It's a Native American, definitely settlement. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Do they know why?
They lived there, and the Stonehenges were simply, like... We follow the stars, guys. Like, that's what our religion has been. Well, it's like it's like a celestial calendar, like to keep and also I'm sure that ritualistic purposes, like rituals happen at these specific times, you know? And I'm pretty sure they lived, like, there were living areas all around, like, in that area. Because, like, I learned about it on... Damn, I don't remember the documentary show, but it was with Graham Hancock. And yeah, it was really cool. Really cool. Really cool. Yeah.
So
I was unaware before, so I wanted you guys to be aware, and you can look into it.
Now we're flying up to Illinois, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Cahokia.
We're flying up to Cahokia, Illinois. And this one's a little different because it wasn't found with wood originally. It was, like, discovered as holes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, they discovered...
Well, and I am sure in Louisiana there wasn't still wood.
You don't think so either? You think that they just put it
well,
in
because I mean, it's like over 2,000 years old.
Wood rots.
You know? Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm sure that this was empty holes that through archaeological digging and stuff, they discovered it was wood.
So they put these, like, wood things. What are they? Like sticks? They're not sticks. They're like logs in the hole.
They're like, like great big tree.
Like
yeah. Timber. Yeah.
Timber. Yeah. That's the best way.
Yeah. But, like, if you guys listen to, I think it was the end of season 2 when we were talking about the lost civilizations of America. we talked about Cahokia, which spans Illinois and St. Louis area in Missouri. Mm-hmm. And it's super cool that we're coming back around to Cahokia again.
Coming back around to quite a few.
Yeah, we are. I'm excited because, like, yeah, the next thing we talk about is very similar. But like Maddie said, I feel like at Cahokia, there weren't multiples like there were in the Louisiana one where they moved a lot, right?
No.
Yeah, there's just like the one semicircle, one big semicircle.
It's one big semicircle, and I believe there's one in the middle.
Yes, and it again is near a big mound that I'm pretty sure you can climb up and stand on top of.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to go.
Do they know what's inside them?
They're not. There's nothing in them. Okay. Yeah. They were built up, if I remember correctly, because I didn't look into that again. But the first time I looked into Cahokia, if I remember correctly, all these mounds, it was where they built up the earth, and like basically the more prosperous individuals or the higher up authorities in town lived on the mounds, and or they were used for like metropolitan purposes, like it's city hall or it's a big like religious gathering type of place.
I watched a scary movie, and I think you may have seen it. I think it was Kevin Costner. I think somebody, I don't know. They moved into this new house, right? And there's mounds everywhere, all over the fucking house, right? Or all over in the woods, right? Turns out it was like a Native American burial ground, of course, right? And they're pissed that somebody's living on the land. So they're coming out, and like his dumbass daughter, and I'm going to call her a dumbass. Oh, I'm a teenager. I'm so angsty, right? I'm not going to...
I feel like I saw this. Okay, right. Keep talking.
She's like, I'm not going to listen to you. Fuck you, Dad. So she runs away and goes off into the woods or whatever because she's pissed at her dad. Guess what? Bitch gets possessed. Gets attacked, gets possessed. Yeah. She's acting like a psycho. And like... Fucking A, dude. So, like, she's like, fuck you, Dad, I'm gonna run back there. And then Kevin Costner's, like, coming out. All this weird shit's happening. There's, like, monsters attacking him. She's a monster. Like, then she realizes, oh, my God, these things are attacking me. And they're, like, monsters, right? Dude, the movie ends with his fucking son getting attacked. The whole family dies. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Because they're living near like
something. Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, do I remember this because I watched it, or do I remember this because you told me the whole plot before? Yeah. Like, because I feel like
what it is.
Like, I'm not sure now, but it's Kevin Costner. So now I'm like, I think I did see that. I don't know though.
And she's like covered in blood and dirt, and she's like washing herself clean, and I'm just like, I hate teenagers. Of course. It's either the teenager that's going to bring the bad spirit in, or it's the dude who doesn't believe the house is haunted.
Oh my God. I just watched. Oh my God. So Corey and I saw some banger movies last night. Or this weekend we watched some banger movies. Last night we watched 2 of them. Highly fucking recommend. Has nothing to do with this episode. Highly fucking recommend the movie Cursed Friends, guys. Right. We watched it on Prime. Fucking hilarious. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm not going to go into it because it has nothing to do with this. But we also watched my best friend's exorcism afterward.
Oh my God, is it funny or is it like...
It's so frustrating. And it made me, like, what you said made me think of that one because it's not a banger of a movie. It wasn't the worst. My review of this movie is this movie had so many opportunities to be good and instead it just disappointed me. It's set in the 1980s, for one, and it's like, it's a current era plot line set in the 1980s. Like, nobody would have acted that way in the fucking 80s, guys. Like, do your fucking research. But that's not the point. The point is, that movie frustrated the shit out of me, and it had so many opportunities to be good. Like, at one point, they bring in this hilarious, like, weightlifter Christian dude who's going to do the exorcism. But then he gets scared and abandons the girl to do her own best friend's exorcism. I do not believe, I don't believe that overall it was supposed to be a comedy.
Whoops.
It would have been better if it was. Like, so much, like, it was just very frustrating. Every time, like, the movie, I thought it was getting good. No. And then... the last, like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 minutes, it cut off. But, like, this girl, the main character, every step of the way, I'm like, fuck you, Abby. You're making everything worse. Why won't you just do things right, Abby? So when you say teenagers just fuck everything, oh my God, this girl, she's supposed to be the protagonist. She's supposed to be the protagonist. Fucking horrible. She's fucking horrible. She's horrible. And she's a teenager, so of course she's handling everything wrong. So like she's the reason her friend gets possessed by the demon in the first place, because she's like sticking by her, and then she's like, you know what? Fuck you. And her friend's like, no, you don't understand. You're making it worse right now. And she's like, no, you're making it worse. And her friend, who is like trying to fight off a demon, is like, no, Abby, you're making it worse. And Abby's like, fuck you, and leaves. And the demon's like, ha, bitch, I got you. I mean, again, it could have been a great comedy. And maybe they wrapped it up with a joke at the very, very end. I don't know, because there's no way I'm spending any more of my life to see how that movie ends, since the internet said we just got to see like almost the ending, where again, it could have been funny and it wasn't. God damn it. You had every opportunity to be a good movie, and you avoided the opportunity at every turn. It was so fucking angering. And then today, Corey put on some movie about some stoners that fall asleep in the 80s and they wake up in the 90s. Or, I'm sorry, in 2016.
Oh, yeah. Was that funny?
It was funny. But this motherfucker's flat top, like, it was so fucking loose. Like, that shit needed to be tightened up. It was the worst wig I ever done seen in my whole fucking life. And, like, nobody would have gone out with a flat top looking that, like, fucking loose. And it bothered me. Like, I couldn't stop looking at this man's hair and was like, no, that's a bad wig. And if you think that that's how that hair would have been worn in the 80s, you're wrong. Like, that shit would have had to be tightened up. It would have had to be tightened up. Like, the flat top is supposed to be a flat top, and it's all like floppy at the top because it's curly.
It's called a flat top for a fucking reason. My brother used to have one growing up. He loved it.
Like, tighten that shit up. Tighten it up. I mean, this was like a black dude's flat top, right? But like, but the curls were too loose. Like, they'd have to be tightened the fuck up. Like, no, Kid and Play would not have gone on air like that. Like, no. Do your research on the 80s. It was great. It was actually really funny. It wasn't as funny as Cursed Friends, so everybody needs to watch Cursed Friends and then let me know what you think, because that shit was hilarious. But anyway, yes.
So the one in New Hampshire is a little confusing for me anyway, so I'm going to let Amber explain some of it. So, like, This guy discovered it, right? Or this guy had a theory.
So I think before he bought the land, it was already discovered as Mystery Place, Mystery Mount, Mystery Point.
And he had his own theory about it.
Right. Okay. So I believe when he purchased the land,
was
it
like
was
1937 or something like.
Was he the one that got it in the 30s? Maybe. I don't remember.
So.
Okay. Because there was also like something about like in the 1980s is when it got renamed to American Stonehenge.
So he bought it in the 1930s.
Okay,
like
so he was the one that bought it in the 30s and he still had it in the 80s. Okay. Okay. I did not.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
See, it's confusing.
It
the
is.
dates confuse me with this one.
So Homeboy bought it, and so when he got it, there was already like, is it Native American or is it like colonizers? Right.
It seemed very European.
Right. Yes.
For America.
And this guy, I think it was William Goodwin, Goodwin.
Yes.
William Goodwin. Okay. William Goodwin buys the property, and he has a theory that, and it's not just his theory. Like, this theory is out there wider than just this guy, because I looked into it because I was curious, and now I don't remember exactly what the words were, but he believed that there was a group of Irish monks that came over to America before Columbus, and that they had settled in New England because they did not make it back to Ireland. Okay. So I found that highly interesting, because taking it back to the end of season 2, when we talked about Cahokia, right before we talked about Cahokia, or maybe the same week that we talked about Cahokia, we talked about Appalachian stories. And one of the Appalachian stories that Maddie and I both really enjoyed was that of the Moon-Eyed People. And one of the theories of the Moon-Eyed People was that they were pre-Columbian European settlers. Mm-hmm. Now this guy buys this place, and he believes that it was settled by pre-Columbian European settlers. And it is, well, it's north. Like New Hampshire is north of Appalachia, but you would go down. I mean, you can go down. You know, exactly. Because, like, if it gets too cold, exactly, you got to find shelter somewhere. Oh, here are these caves in the Appalachian Mountains that were formed when Pangea came together. Check out last episodes.
And this is just a theory.
Right, the monk thing. Yeah. The Appalachian Mountains really did, but yeah. Yeah, the monk thing is, that's just a theory. But I find it interesting how these two things come together, you know what I'm saying? Because,
I'm sorry not to laugh, like, I was not saying Pangea was like...
Yeah, no, I knew you weren't. No, I knew you weren't saying that. I was just like, for them. Yeah, like, just in case you don't understand what we're saying. Yeah, no, I knew you weren't.
But anyway. He thinks that these are pre-Columbus settlers and that they formed something. Something that I read was it could possibly have been like something that farmers used or farmers worked with. It could have there were also places that people stayed.
Right, yeah, like everything that I read, it's like, it looks like an entire little civilization. There's rooms where people were, there's rooms where people worshipped, there's rooms where people created food. Yeah, exactly. And that's why people think it's very European. Exactly. Yes. And I think that that's not wrong.
Like the Native American, things in New Orleans, or I'm sorry, in
Louisiana and Illinois.
Yeah,
right.
Those are obviously native.
Right.
You
yes.
know, these are more.
This is right. This is where some people think it might have been native, but it looks much more European, and that's why the belief is that perhaps it was pre-Columbian Europeans. But a lot of people are like, no, it's just the first American settlers versus pre-Columbian Europeans. Mm-hmm. That said, here's my thing. Okay, so one of the things that's confusing about it is the fact that William Goldwyn, when he bought the land. He moved a lot of the stuff around, like the stones and like the monument type things. He moved them around to fit his. It's okay. I didn't mean to laugh.
No, I'm so sorry. Please continue.
No, you're good. That just struck me as that's one of the ways it goes sometimes, right? We'll figure something out. But he moved things to fit his own theory that it was Irish monks. Now, here's the thing, though. These aren't big stone pillars. These are movable pieces of stone. Maybe they've always been moved around by the people that lived there, and it really was pre-Columbian European settlers that made a living space similar to that of which they had in Europe when they, lived in Europe, and now they're here and they don't know what else to do. So they did that thing, right. And eventually they migrated south because they found that the climate was much more easier for population purposes to maintain life in. So they moved down, and they truly are the Moon-Eyed People, or where the legends of the Moon-Eyed People come from. To me, this makes perfect sense.
It does. It's very interesting. I'm curious on what our audience thinks.
Seriously, I am curious.
It was built by pre-Columbus Europeans, or do you think it's Native American, or what? I'm very curious. Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube.
And if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe while you're there on YouTube. But if you know of any other Stonehenge or Woodhenge sites that are in America, because I didn't find anything right off the bat further west, and I thought these four probably enough conversation for one episode, so I'm not going to keep looking. Yeah, so yeah. But if you guys know, let us know, because even if we don't do an episode on it, I want to learn. So let us know while you're liking and subscribing and commenting about the other stuff. Let us know if we missed anything. And if you're on Spotify or Good Pods or any of the other podcast platforms, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if they let you comment those questions or answers to our questions, do it there while you're there. And you can find us on the socials.
You can find us on Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot, as well as Facebook at Witches Talking Tarot. And we are on the
X
at Classiest Witches. We want to give a big shout out to Pam,
Death by DVD,
Melissa,
Victoria.
Thank you so much for being our patrons. If you're interested in supporting us, check out our Patreon.
Yes, Witches Talking Tarot on Patreon.com. And we thank you for coming to sit a spell.